So while from an ontological standpoint, from this being, the black body has suffered this notion of the non-being, the subhuman, and over the years, it has been challenged with what has been understood to be epistemicide, which means a death of a knowledge, a particular way of knowing. But not only that, through the death of the language that's been understood as linguicide, the black body has always been dislocated in terms of language as a place and no access to that place through the erasure of languages. And more of the things we present on the bandstand are going to extinction. In South Africa, the Bantu people all over had these click sounds that became kind of exoticized all around the world. But when we think deeply about, for instance, the Zulu creation story, we understand the click are to have been the first sound that occurred. And so we understood that we came through this pre-existent vital force, this energy. So the invocation of these sounds are some of these postures of refusal to forget the things that make us. And so while the aesthetic itself is fugitive in a sense that it escapes, everything we say about it, it leaves it behind. And that's the nature of improvisation. And I think that's why this art form was able to survive so many catastrophes, because it enunciated from this disparity of an echo and this refusal to entirely forget who we are, where home is, what our languages are. And all of these things were banned. I mean, in South Africa, jazz suffered these local forms of displacement through the Group Areas Act, which was to group black bodies into utter dysfunctionality and forced removals. And all of these acts that were trying to dislocate a particular way of being, a particular way of knowing, but also dislocating the black family through like migrant labor. And so our fathers were always working, so we never really saw them. And there are ways in which coloniality has challenged this biography. But the music really stands as a thing that I believe happens in another place. And this is the sacredness of black sounds, in a sense that they operate from another realm. And that's why we always think about them in terms of how they are guided by the spirits. And of course, these kinds of outlooks have been, through ethnomusicology and musicology, which in itself is a failure, because this was not even a study, not even research, but these were people just walking around with notebooks, and they wrote and made conclusions about African musics. And in the introductions, you'll see these musicological or ethnomusicological texts. They say, I was with the Bapedi people for 2 weeks, and this is how Bapedi people think. So you can see all of these layers and layers of violence. But the reason for that is clear, is because, as Anthony Braxton says, he says, African music can never be known, but it can only be experienced. And thank you for being here.